What's good, everybody? This is Comic Collector Origins, the story of Comic Man Andy. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. This video today is in support of the Gorrilla Todd push to 1,000 subscribers. He has a contest going on. Post his video link right up here. Check that out. You can watch the video and you can comment to enter. He's also given us an option of doing a video entry here like this for the questions that he's asked us. It's really quick, though. Join the ride. Join the comic collecting fun. Join this journey of mine. Hit that subscribe button down below. Smash the reaction buttons. Tickle that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping some content. Let's get back to this. So Gorilla Todd's contest poses two questions to us. The first one being your collector origin story, and then your origin story of going into YouTube. So we'll get into that in just a second here. His contest ends April 10th. It's still going on. Once again, congratulations on reaching your mark, and hopefully you're pushing for more, and you're doing well on that, man. Gorilla Todd's a fun guy. Make sure you check out his auctions. Make sure you check out the content he has going on. It's always a good time. Good to see him and spend some time with him. The two questions. The first question that he posed to us is, what is your collector origin story? We're going to get deep here. Hope you guys are willing to hang out, see this video through and hang out. I'm going to get deep here with you guys. Like I said, we're going to get deep here with you guys. So what is my collector origin story? If I got to go way back, I could talk about my first book, but before I go to that portion, I got to go further back. I had an aunt and uncle that I used to stay with occasionally, for a weekend of summer or something like that, or a couple of weekends of summer. And I had that uncle there collected comic books. So my first ever exposure to comic books were those early DC kind of military horror style books. And one of the first books I think I've ever read in his collection was Rom Space Knight #1. Tattered. They're in bad shape. They've been read. And it was, he loved those books, loved reading them. He loved sharing them with all of us. So I got a lot of fun and joy out of checking those books out as a very young child. And that kind of is what really drew my interest into comic books. And it just so happened one time, years later, a little bit older, out with my mom, we end up going to, back in the day, what was called a Five and Dime. A Five and Dime is an early toy store, like way back in the 80s. Five and Dime, nickel and dime. You know what I mean? It's like you can get toys like cheap. We kind of went to the Five and Dime as a treat. You're doing well, let's go check something out. Well, next to the Five and Dime was the community drugstore. We always have to pop in there occasionally. In that community drugstore was a spinner rack of comic books. So I was given that choice. I had some interest in comic books. Andy, do you want to buy a comic book? And I'm peeking through that rack. Lo and behold, I grabbed something. And it's a Punisher book. Man, just thinking about this. This is a while ago. Punisher War Journal #1, 1988, on that spinner rack was the first comic book that I ever actually owned and read cover to cover and kept as part of my original collection. And I really have a deep connection with that. Deep enough that I collect the book substantially, a lot. I grab them when I think they're affordable, or when I find copies for good deals, or I find really high grade copies that I think I can send off to CDC. I buy them. I probably have close to half a short box of just issue #1. So, of course, I've got Punisher War Journal #1 and a 9/8. Awesome Carl Potts and Jim Lee art. And the cover here is actually done by Carl Potts and Scott Williams. Fun cover. And if I remember correctly, Alpha Flight 51 was Jim Lee's first pencils with Marvel. And this wasn't too far after that. I'm going to have to look it up and educate myself. But I do believe that this is Jim Lee's first work or first pencils on a Punisher series or title or anything. So they don't credit Jim Lee's first work in a Punisher. They don't go that deep. Alpha Flight 51 is credited as Jim Lee's first pencils. So it's really cool. It's something I've always stuck with. I've really been a fan of Jim Lee for a long time. I've really been a fan of Punisher for a long time. So I grabbed not this specific copy. My originally owned copy is long gone. My original collection is long gone. We'll get more into my journey on rebuilding my collection and stuff like that with the second question. But my collector origin story was that it all started with Punisher War Journal #1 off that spinner rack as a kid, out of that drugstore. That first copy. So, of course, like I said, I'm going to continue to collect the book as I get older. And that kind of posed a little bit of a, not hiatus, but a little bit of a break. You don't, at that age, you don't get to go back every week or every month and get every book that comes out. It was a treat. It was just a simple treat. And at that age, you don't realize that something like this could be a regular thing. It's just you're dipping your toes in that pool for the first time, so to speak. So it wasn't until later on that I got my first job and a bike. A bike and my first job that I had some regular money in my pocket. And lo and behold, there's an LCS not far. So that book spurred me to want to get into collecting comic books and reading on a regular basis. And at that point, getting into some of those earlier runs, and then Image was hitting big. This was 1988. So you start getting into the early 90s, Image is pumping out great books and good titles and fun stuff as a kid that you're totally getting into. Lots of great stuff. Lots of fun books as a kid. You can ride your bike. You're getting a regular paycheck for you making $4 an hour, $3 an hour. Regular paycheck nonetheless. It's reliable money. So you can show up to your comic book store on a weekly or monthly basis and pick up titles and actually start collecting. And that's when I really got into the buy one to read, buy one to collect, buying 2 copies of everything. So, of course, I'm going to have a newsstand copy of this in a 9.8. Because why not? As a big collector of Punisher books, like I said, I've been looking for these for eons and years. These things were cheap for a long time. People weren't really buying a lot of these books. And they weren't really commanding great prices or large prices. So I bought them up when I could. So the collector origin story, that's kind of it. Once you get a bike and a job and a regular paycheck and you start collecting comic books, then you get a car and a driver's license, then you start doing lots of other teen activities that aren't necessarily tied to comic books. So the origin story, first book that I own, of course, it's going to be something near and dear to my heart that I'm going to grab other copies of. But there's one copy of this book that just will forever stand out in all of my memories. I'll never let go of. And this was many, many, many years ago. Trolling around online looking for Punisher comic books. I stumbled on this. This is the piece de resistance. What the hell did I just do? I just got fucking fancy as shit. This last copy that I'm about to show is the prized piece of my Punisher collection. And this was just stumbled on this many, many, many years ago for a price that is just scary to think about how cheap these things were going back then. I mean, cheap. Punisher War Journal 9.9. One of only 3 in existence. Never going to see another one. This paper quality. No. Well, no. There's 3 in existence, and there only ever will be 399s. This is one that will forever be in the collection and will be my prized piece, my prized Punisher piece ever. So I'll still collect this book. I'll still send off copies for grading, and I'll still buy copies, high grade copies of this, just because this is my fun cover to have. This is my origin story cover. This is the first comic book I ever owned. Let me wrap up this first question by just saying that this is the cover that I hunt for and look for and always purchase in high grade. I even grab some reader grade copies just to have, just because it's like buying it off the rack for the first time again. So Todd's second question that he poses to us is, what made you take your collecting and get into the YouTube game? June 23rd of 2019 was the first video that I ever dropped. That first video was in response to another person's contest going on. Bear Island Comics did the Royal Guard contest, and I thought it was absolutely a fun idea where you get to pick your top 10 Royal Guards, kind of thinking Game of Thrones-esque. What were your top 10 guards that you'd pick? And I had a lot of fun with that, thinking about who you'd pick and this and that and whatnot. And it's, if you click down into my video section, scroll all the way to the bottom and find that first terribly edited video, I had a lot of fun with that. That was my entry into the YouTube world. And why did I do that? Because I really discovered this amazing community of comic book collectors that love this connective tissue we all have of comic books. Not only do we love the comic books, but we love the connectivity and the interaction and the talking about them, the reading them, the reviews, the speculation, building your collection, watching others build their collections and watching them hit their goals and reach these milestones and congratulating them. And in the same token, meeting your own goals and having everybody else congratulate you. It's just this great community of good energy and good karma. And we're just kind of building it, building it, building it, and spinning it. And when I saw what people had going on, it's like, I live in a town with a very amazing comic book shop, and there's a lot of people that frequent that comic book shop, but there's not a lot of connectivity within this community of people getting together and talking and hanging out and doing comic books. Everybody shows up, gets their pull list, browses the walls, checks out the hot books, checks out what they have behind the counter, and then they pay and then they go, and everybody goes about their way. I'm sure there's a couple of really good friends that hang out and talk comic books, but in our community where I live, what we do here on YouTube is not a regular thing. So my channel will always be an extension into this amazing community, hanging out, talking comic books, whether it's new comic book day, whether it's unboxing some stuff, or whether it's doing CGC stuff, or even talking speculation, or being on somebody else's channel. This is my extension into that community and being able to hang out and talk with all of you guys and interact with everybody. Because at the end of the day, you guys are what makes this the best thing ever. Everybody's uniqueness, everybody's different collecting styles, everybody's different opinions. What's hot, what's not, what's fun, what's not fun, what's terrible, what's good. The differing opinions and the debating and talking back and forth is really what makes this fun. That's why I wanted to get into this. That's why I really wanted to sit down and do a YouTube channel and just have fun with it and just enjoy it. It's a great stress reliever. It's a great way to disconnect, connected to electronic devices doing this, but it's also a great way to disconnect and de-stress from daily life and everything else that's going on. It's really a ton of fun. I really enjoy it. Gorrilla Todd, congratulations on 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations on your contest for everything that's going on. Really enjoy your content. I really enjoy everybody else's content. This is a great time. Once again, Gorrilla Todd, if you haven't checked it out, the link is attached. Check out his channel. Check out his 1,000 subscriber video. April 10th is the end date that he has going on. So don't forget that. At a minimum, go subscribe to him. Leave a comment down there. At a minimum, then you're entered. But push through and do a video. I did that video for the Royal Guard contest, for Bear Island's Royal Guard contest. And I got a lot of support from community members like Drew Manchu of the Comic Corps. Andy, just sit down and record it. That's my advice to everybody out there that's just interested in doing it. Just sit down and record it and try it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just sit down and give it a shot. At the end of the day, you'll learn as you go, and it'll become more fun. It'll become more fun. And if it's not, don't do it then. If it's not fun, don't do it. But thanks to community members like Drew Manchu, C. Woodard 19 of the Comic Corps, Cat Ren Figures, Mark BKR, Chad, everybody on there, White Whale Comics, John's Comics with Kids, the entire group of Comic Corps that's out there. and their support that entire time. Like, should I do a video? Should I not? Should I not enter the contest? Should I enter the contest? Andy, just sit down and do it. And I did. I have so many thank yous to give to them, because without their encouragement, I probably would have shied out and I probably wouldn't have done the video. But I did it and I had a ton of fun. And Adam Bear Island Comics is a very good friend of mine now, actually. And he does not live far, and I cannot wait for us to hang out and do some hunting and go to some conventions. So these connections that we make are very real, and they're a lot of fun. And everybody out there, you guys are what makes this great. It's really a ton of fun. Yes, congratulations, Gorrilla Todd, on 1,000 subscribers. Like I said, the link's going to be posted up there. Hit up his video, hit up his channel. At a minimum, subscribe to him, watch the video, and leave a comment, and you're entered. Consider doing a video, though. Consider pushing your limits. Consider trying something new. Give it a shot. You got till April 10th. Give it a shot. See what happens. See what comes of it. Join the community and hang out and have a good time. So that's my comic collector origin. Comic Man Andy. I ramble. I beat around the bush. But it's because I'm here to have fun with you guys. So y'all know how I'm going to do this, right? Hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment. Leave some feedback. Hit those reaction buttons. Tickle that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping some content and we're going to hang out. Don't forget to share your stuff on Instagram and YouTube so when I know when you're dropping stuff and we can come hang out on your channel too. At the end of the day, we go peace out. We go pinkies out. I'm going to catch y'all on the flip side for the next video. And remember, most important part, all day, every day.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.